Welcome. So I am on my Periscope, and this is, well, first of all, I want to say happy Saturday. I hope everyone is doing well. I hope that you are having a very a high, positive, vibrational, healthy, and human participating experience. And I am a psychic, I am an astrologer, but today's, I make sure there are going to be no unnecessary sounds out of nowhere. I am doing a high-powered prayer, a high prayer, mystical, magical, prophetic, spiritual, and most importantly, psychic. So everyone, thank you for joining in. If you can't stay for long, but as you come through, I do appreciate you coming in and getting some of that good energy, because even though I'm going to be channeling this into a very specific direction, the energy, just hearing, being in the presence, is good for you. It's a good vibrational feeling. You should leave feeling good, and that's what I love about when I do readings one-on-one. People say to me that they feel better when they're in their exiting, when they're in their exodus, when they're leaving from me. We're gonna go our separate ways, hanging up, however you want to phrase that. That they feel better. They feel better than they had previously, before having made the connection through the phone call with me. Also, I've updated my site, so I've pretty much, I'm gonna be, if I can be straightforward, I got rid of all the nonsense. I mean, these are videos, so I don't need to send you over there to watch videos if I'm gonna do them here. And this is just where I'm at this level. So you'll always get the videos here, but to connect with me directly fast, then that's what that profile is for. And it's just one page, and it has different tiers. And everyone always welcome to ask questions during live. I find that people who ask questions in live, and then some other questions on a deeper level, carry over into our time together, one-on-one. And I think it's a good experience for both, because if they want to share publicly, fantastic. If they want to hold back and present types of questions, or we can get into information that may be more private, then we also have that option. It's great to have options. Okay, so back to my intention. So without further ado, today I'm always working with the stars, okay? Because that just comes hand in hand. But as you could tell, I've got my cards here, my tarot, and so I'm making very sure. So first of all, I'm going to jot down make sure my intentions are on point, because I'm doing a high prayer for, as it does state in my title, for my president I'm praying for my president. I am also doing a rededication, so I'm realigning myself of the United States, and I want to make sure that, the spelling of the name and my intentions, everything is going to be correct, because I love accuracy, and as much as I love perfection, if there's information that is fact worthy and I need to research it, I go and I research my information. I'm making sure, is this going to be exactly what it is? So I just wanted to make sure. So I know that there's some things going on or being stated, throughout the news channels, and he is reaffirmed, confirmed, and reiterated for me. But I just want to make it very clear that, is that my president is clearly in my prayers, in my high prayers, in fact. So I'm going to, so I'm going to go ahead and present his name. And as I'm doing this, of course, I'll be interacting and speaking with each and every one of you. I do thank you for joining in, and I hope you're having a phenomenal day. And you're just and positive day and all of that good stuff. And of course, usually people like to listen in. So if listening in, if that's what it is today, then thank you for listening. I know when you all do have questions, I'm so happy that you all can ask those questions without fear and also with confidence, because it gives me confidence to read for you. When you're confident, I'm confident, because I pick up on that right away. And because I know that giving the reading, that's the easy part for me. I've done so many of them, but it's making decisions. When it comes to you making decisions, I can even feel when the person is uncertain. I bet you can too, but it's important that when it comes to making decisions, I know this is a bit of common sense, common knowledge, but you have to be absolute. You have to feel sure, certain, and this is the realm of intuition. So, the more confident, the more sure, the more confident I believe that things become manifest. Okay, so just want to make sure that we get my intention here clear. Yeah. I'm also having an amazing day, and I hope that you all have an amazing day as well. And I do thank you all for kind of coming through and chit-chatting a little bit. I know, definitely. The reason why I'm putting this, circles for me, to me is the symbol of, it is the symbol of the sun. The sun is fiery. Fiery is, of course, purity. It purifies, but also it represents covenant. So that's a little bit of knowledge. So I'm actually fulfilling a circle here that represents like protection, protection, prayer. Because when you send prayer, you're hoping that it's wrapped in spirit. Anything good that in alignment, and whatever colors that flow, that is with good intention, God's intention, and Holy Spirit's intention, and Jesus Christ, is aware of it to carry it through the angels, so we want to make sure. And so, yeah. All right, so now to the astrological part. I've got the intention down. The first cards that I really wanted to lay out here have to do with these two cards, the Tarot, the World card and the Wheel of Fortune. The World card and the Wheel of Fortune. The World card represents also the age that we're in, age of Capricorn, that I've talked about in many times, in many ways. This card takes also many forms because it can represent our transition, our evolving, ever-growing human development for human experience. And of course, the Wheel of Fortune is more like the card that represents the process of that. As they say in nature, things, life falls, and then life progresses and evolves and declines. And so that's what these two cards represent. Both cards also represent the four gospels. So as you can see that here, these are the letters. So these cards are perfect. These are the traditional layout or drawings or symbols for the tarot. Because I also wanted to introduce or bring in my special cards that have to do with I'm going to tell a psychic's story. So if you will, so if you've got time, it's a psychic story. It's a really good one, and it's going to talk about healing. It's talking about protection. It's talking about in the psychic prophecy, the psychic's prediction, the prediction of, I just want to be very clear. My president is healthy. My president is fine. My president is vibrant, and he's he has the vibrations that represent healing on a continuum stream, which means that yes, he is fine. His vibrations are very bright, very loud, as they should be for a leader in his stature. And when it comes to said crises at the moment, he is fine. And I'm also rededicating my alignment to the planets, to spirit, to my psychic abilities, through my prayers every day for my president. And he is fine now, and he's going to continue to be fine. And well, how many times will he have to tell you? That's up to him. But I'm just I'm confirming and reconfirming and dedicating and rededicating in my declaration that he is fine health-wise, and even in the midst of our crises, and he's going to continue to be fine. Okay, all right. So I'm gonna pull these to the side so I can tell this story. So I got them all in order so I wouldn't fall out of order. Okay. So this is the card that represents this is the card that is the Capricorn card, and this is also our age. This is representing very high importance. This represents the rise and fall of as situations come up, that yes, they come up as challenges, like this series of situations, of events that my president is dealing with. They rise. And they rise like if you want to say Goliaths, but my president will always have that ability to rectify those situations, come through. And there's another thing I was meditating about, is that because sometimes I hear as what people are speaking and what they're saying that he's going to do, he doesn't say any of those things when he did the national announcement declaring an emergency, etc., and bestowing upon powers and speaking with these high leaders that I was talking about yesterday. Some of the information is yesterday's information before he'd gone on live, and which is amazing that he did not say anywhere near, because sometimes it gives me the feeling like people want something, some kind of major catastrophe, and that's just not what my president is stating at all. He didn't even go near these areas. So just be careful, like I mentioned yesterday. Be careful for power of suggestions. It's going to be pretty rampant, even for people who are like me. Be careful. And this is my president, of course, victorious, and and Mars central figure. Also, the Oval Office represents the seat, represents Jupiter. Mars, the tower, does represent a place of strength. And in fact, the towers represent, it can represent a nation, it can represent a certain structure, it can represent a person in their own steadfastness, place of higher regard and respect and renown. And so, so this is where he's at. Okay, so that's what this represents. So if you understand the chronological order of things, then you know what I just said, and that would be period. So the next one is so this card is our more of mortality card, our card of mortality. Life and mortality is a Scorpio's card. And it concerns itself with death and regeneration and like rebirth, and the generations. So yeah, it does represent that. But also, this card is the balance. I don't know if I can hear, that's as bright as it's going to get in the light, but it's an angel holding the balance beams, and it is the Two of Swords, and this just represents that there is such thing as a balance, and there are, like as you say, the balance of the universe. And of course, here are the four Gospels again. Here's the one with there you go, and then here is the one that I favored a great deal, and this one is the one depicting the Christ figure, that be Jesus Christ, and within the tarot, in the tarot language. And I wanted to place them together because I felt that being so that they are very close to the gospel language, that it has a lot to do with the healing. It has a lot to do with the sense of purpose and declarations that are flowing through the sense of, well, in the midst of everything that's happened, even in the midst of our concerns, or even if it brings about anxieties or fears. And remember what I also stated. I stated that it's highly important as we're consuming information, right? That we're going to use our critical thinking faculties, because it's going to help us, help me, everyone with stress. Our president, he utilizes that tool like profoundly. It's amazing. It's like, I like the demeanor. It's like, if anyone has to hold it together, he's got to hold it together, even if we lose it. And we will, and maybe we'll continue. We'll see. And that the one word that I mentioned was impulse. Our impulses. So to have better control of our impulses, since we're going to be highly sensitive to things, the moon card and things of that nature, and sensitive to one another. The critical thinking faculties help to balance that. It will help you manage stress, our stress. It'll help me manage stress better too, okay? So I like that. And this is Christ carrying the burden. And so, and it is representation of the wands, and it means the 10. So this is a fulfillment I can already detect, because this is the 10 of wands, and in this clearly Christian-oriented tarot spread, have a lot to do with the burden that my president will fulfill. It's on his shoulders, and he is going to see it through. It's the 10. The 10 for us is a high number. And 10 is it's thought of as being a completion when you're reading in the tarot traditionally. But also 10 is is God's number. It's not the number of organization like a 12, but 10 is the number for God. And Yahweh, if you want to say. The other important thing is that if you take 1 and 0, 0 still has an identity. But if you take 1 and 0, then from the 10 you get the 1. This is basic numerology. Ones represents people who are like the president, people who are high-powered figures, people who are in command of corporates. We're thinking about CEOs, but especially someone in the limelight, such as my president. So I know that this is something that this is where you properly use the word ordained. Because when you're ordained or appointed, it's for a purpose, it's with reason. It isn't just to be in charge of people or have a flock. It's because something is taking place in which you're going to have the burden to see that through in the midst of the flock, to see and witness the actions that you will do through your works that will be much appreciated by the universe, the world. Especially in the age of Capricorn. If you want to go back and watch previous videos, I talk a little bit about that. And as time progresses, you'll hear me bring up that more often. Okay. So the next cards are the Divine Masculine. This one is the Father and the Son. This is when there's the glory and the mom. You wouldn't know anything about this unless you read in the traditional language of the Bible. But you might rely on more of the, I guess like the Catholic version, because with the Mary. But if you read in the traditional, God references himself as Father and Mother, but the Father is capitalized and so is the Mother, and they are connected, meaning that he is both personified. Both, it would be like saying the masculine and the feminine, Mother, Father, and they do what they call it. They act as one. They can, if you want to say, disconnect. Like one can stay up, one can come down. By the way, the Father or the masculine actually is the moon, and also darkness. You see, it's the opposite in Christianity, and the sun and the day is the feminine, the mother. And or glory. So if you want to say that, you can say it that way too. And so, well, they are connected, and most importantly, it's about the sun. And as you can see, the sun is there. So I'm just referencing that this absolutely has everything to do with men, women, has everything to do with dealing with the relationship between the two, and any diversities that align around sexuality or gender identities, things of that nature, people pulling together. I haven't really talked about the Libra incoming purification of the consciousness, clear conscious, love conscious, if you want to say Christ conscious, or the awakening. I still have yet to present that video. I thought about doing it today, but this took precedence, and the more I thought about it, the more Spirit just pulled me in the direction to speak on this subject matter. So I will get to that Libra information, that the love stuff. We will get to the lovey-dovey, your partners, in a little bit, but this is so important for me to send my prayers, my thoughts, my psychic prayers, my high prayers to my president, and my declarations. And I'm very thankful that I'm 100% correct in everything that I'm saying. Okay, so last is, these are a little more complicated. This is, let me see, okay. These are the angels. So these are the two angels. One of them is the, okay, that's the wheel. Okay, so holding the wheel of fortune, and then it's the justice card. Both of them are angels. And basically all this was saying is pretty straight out. I was trying to figure out how to say this easily, but there's already a high power, a high prophet, priestess. There's already a higher governmental philosophy, concept that is the principle of event over guarding and watching and what they call it, judging the events that are taking place. Like when the president, when he speaks for himself and he is declaring things the way that things are going to be, and people who sought to speak for him come out null and void. But they're like, I'm for him, but yet it kind of has there's something that's in the psychic vibrations that I feel from them speaking sometimes. It's that it's not quite clear if they're 100, like if they are 100% for or believing with no doubt. And it may be, and I'm pretty sure it's because of everything that's happening to us as human beings all at once. Maybe that, and I know that, no, we're not supposed to do that with the politicians. They could do this and flip, and I can resonate. But when things play out, and they play out in real time, and especially when it's recorded, it cannot be erased. It's in the Google's data system, or readily available for public consumption any point of the day or night, and you can't take back what you say. You understand, okay? And I thought this was a fitting card, the cross being held, and of course the prophets. So this is the Queen of the Chalice, and this card is the Wands. I believe four of the, well, which ones? I'm gonna make for certain. I'm sorry, I'm gonna say four. One of Wands, and to me, it reminds me of the prophets, or the seers. So we're giving homage, and I said, I would leave that card there. So I am sending my prayers, my psychic energy of healing, protection for my president. He is fine right now. Nothing ties him to the unfortunate, whether taken lightly or taken seriously, should be taken extremely seriously, as my president states because it is that's why he spoke yesterday publicly, and everybody was able to see and hear, the world. And oh yeah, and he's going to continue to be just fine. Okay, so, and to wrap this up, this one is for clarity, purity. Okay, purity, cleansing. And this is for longevity, healing, but everlasting, not just for today, but like ongoing. Our intentions, they have to be clear. They have to be very clear, our prayers. So with that said, I don't care what anyone else says. I don't care what any pastors say. I don't care what prophets say. I don't care what psychics say. I don't care what individual people say. I don't care what the church says. I don't care what if a non-faith person, non-believer says. I don't care. He is just fine now, and he's going to be just fine ongoing. And that's all that I've got for today. I will come back at some point to do back to our normal psychic readings, I promise. But this was something that was on my psychic mind, and I wanted to make a move when as the time is now and ready. So yeah, it is a happy Sabbath. We showed up, and we showed up very psychic and astrologically inclined, and our wits about us are very much aware of what we're doing. And yeah, we showed up on the Sabbath. Here we are with prayers and for Jesus Christ.